Good morning. Welcome back to the channel. So in this video, we're going to talk about 5 things to know before commuting on your motorcycle. And these aren't necessarily anything special. They're just kind of the 5 things that I feel are important before you decide to commute full-time on a motorcycle. In this beginning of the video, I showed a little intro because I've been kind of showing a lot of my heavy highway time. And this is me running up to a town just down the road, kind of in between my house and the freeway where I do my heavy commuting. And so in the beginning of the video, you see I'm just in a t-shirt. Now, that's a pretty rare thing for me. It's got to be kind of a mild day for that to happen. Short jaunt type of a deal. And as we get into these 5 things, you'll understand why I say it's a very unusual thing for me to be in a t-shirt. Now, one of the biggest things that you may not be aware of when you decide to commute on a motorcycle is you're not in shape for it. And I don't mean that you've got to be skinny or a muscle-bound gym bro to be able to ride your motorcycle. What I mean by saying you're out of shape is you're going to be using muscles that you are not used to. You're going to be sitting in awkward positions depending on what type of motorcycle you ride. And so your first couple of weeks of commuting full-time on a motorcycle, you're going to be sore. Your shoulders are going to be sore. Your back's going to be sore. Your neck's going to be sore. And that's just specifically you getting used to your motorcycle. Now, when I started commuting, I rode motorcycles quite a bit on the weekends, and in the evenings I'd come home, hop on my bike, run up, get a burger or whatever. When I decided to start commuting full-time, I had about a half hour each direction commute, so an hour total out of my day. And it was amazing how quickly my body became sore, even though I was accustomed to my motorcycle. And that's going to be motorcycle specific. When I'm on my Ducati, I'm in a very forward position, leaned into the bike kind of in almost like a push-up position. And so the middle of my shoulders gets sore. My neck from holding my helmet up, looking up, gets sore very quickly. On my KLR, it's more my lower back and kind of lower shoulder area because of the way I'm sitting. And so you need to get very comfortable with your motorcycle, because as you try to stretch and change positions on your motorcycle to try to get more comfortable, you are going to intimately learn every inch of that motorcycle as to where you can move on it while you're riding. Another thing that's important is hydration on your motorcycle. Out here in the desert in the afternoon, we've been hitting as high as 107 this last week. So having on good gear that's going to be, full length down your arms, pads. But the most important thing about your gear is that it's going to keep the sun off of your body, which is going to help you stay hydrated. I also carry a Camelback with me. I don't use it in my morning ride. My morning ride's in the 50s, and so it's just uncomfortable to necessarily have that pack with the water in it around my back, so I throw it in my top bag. And then in the afternoon, I have water to ride home with, and I don't know if you can see it in my other videos. Sometimes you can kind of just catch it coming by as I'm drinking water. Now, obviously, if your commute is shorter, you don't necessarily need a bladder. But even on as short as a half-hour trip, if you're not wearing sleeves, the sun's going to beat down on you. Then eventually it is going to cook the water out of your body, and you'll know it. You'll think that you're no longer sweating because, you got a little bit of a breeze on you. But when that breeze is no longer feeling cool, that's because you are no longer sweating. And so having something like a Camelback on allows you to just take some sips of water. Having sleeves on keeps the sun off you and helps you stay hydrated. And you would be surprised at how much of a difference that actually makes. Now, comfort on the bike. That's another big one. I like to wear plug phones. I have a Bluetooth helmet. And then I also have plug phones, Bluetooth earplugs. I've tried several different helmets, and none of them are very quiet at freeway speeds. Now, highway speeds, let's say 55 and below, my Bluetooth helmet is more than adequate in allowing me to listen to music, take a phone call if I need to, that kind of stuff. and the road noise isn't that bad. Everything above 55, the plug phones are better because they allow me to wear earplugs. My ears aren't getting beat up by the wind noise and everything else going on around me. But one thing important is you need to keep the volume low enough so that you can actually hear what's going on in traffic around you. I've been trying to catch it on video, and I haven't got it yet, but a lot of times you see me riding in that left-hand lane on the freeway. And the reason I'm there is because that's where I've got a chicken strip on that left side to duck out. And a lot of people don't pay attention on the freeway. And when we hit that stop and go traffic, you will see a couple cars back, somebody diving into there to slow down. Now, I'm not going to dive into there to slow down because I'm on a bike and you can stop very quickly. But it gives me somewhere to get away if I need to. And you'll also see motorcycles occasionally passing or lane splitting. And this pisses a lot of people off. But in 105 degree, 107 degree heat, if you're on an air-cooled bike that is not liquid-cooled, you're not going to be able to just sit in that stop-and-go traffic without your bike overheating. So a lot of times you'll see guys kind of cautiously going down. And some guys kind of abuse that. But, if you need to, you got to keep that bike moving to keep it cool. And that's not even a comfort thing for you. That is literally to keep your bike from melting down on the side of the freeway. One of the other important things is you see it all the time and you wonder why guys ride their motorcycles more aggressively in traffic. And you're like, I'm not going to be that guy. That guy seems like he's riding like an idiot. But one key point to that is you noticed him riding aggressively. Riding aggressively allows cars to see us, allows us to quickly maneuver in and out of traffic, and it allows us to kind of cushion ourselves away from other vehicles. As soon as I see traffic start stacking up and I'm on one of the inside lanes, I will aggressively maneuver over to the side so I've got that chicken strip, get around that semi, whatever needs to happen for me. Now, I'm not talking about the guys that are lane splitting at 100 miles an hour on the freeway. I'm talking about guys that are they change lanes very quickly, but they're still within a few miles of the speed limit, a few miles an hour within the speed limit. You'll also notice that they tend to ride a couple miles an hour faster than the speed limit. And there again, it allows us to be moving faster than traffic, which then allows other drivers around us that'll catch their eye because it's moving at a different pace. It'll catch them in the peripheral as they see that in their mirror and whatnot. And so a couple miles an hour faster, aggressively changing lanes, those are tricks that allow you to be seen. And you've noticed it before when you're in your cars driving and you see a guy maneuvering like that, it catches your eye. And then you might be like, God, what an idiot. Why is he doing that? And as you commute, you're going to be doing the same thing eventually. You just got to think about that. Another thing is you can create a cushion around you. In some of my videos, you will see me just rocking the bike back and forth at 30 to 40 miles an hour. While that's fun, I love doing that. That's one of my favorite things to do is just rock the bike and feel the bike move underneath me. It bothers people that are behind you because they don't know what the hell you're doing. And so that wag literally causes guys to back off. And if you watch in my videos, even though I've got them sped up, you can watch me wag on the freeway quite a few times when we're kind of in that stop and go range. And as soon as I start wagging, you'll notice the car in my mirror, they'll start to back off. Then it's because they don't know what I'm doing. They don't know if I'm going to make a lane change. They don't know if I'm having a mechanical issue. They just see the wag and they assume that I'm going to be doing something or something's going on with my bike. For me, it's just something fun to do, but it creates more of a cushion. It gets that car behind you aware that you're there. And they back off, give you a little more room, and then as you're hitting that stop and go traffic, they'll tend to slow down sooner because they don't understand what's going on with your bike. And so riding more aggressively, doing things like the wag, 2 to 3 miles an hour over the speed limit, aggressively change lanes, that's all stuff that catches motorists' eyes. Because a lot of times they're in their car, air conditioning blowing, radio's on, and our horns on our motorcycles are quiet. So you're not going to get somebody's attention if you have to, unless you kick them or or they happen to hear your horn. A lot of times you'll see a bike having to get off the road to get away from a motorist coming into their lane. So being more aggressive on your motorcycle will give you a space cushion around you. It'll make vehicles aware that you're there. And one of the last things, kind of the little bonus thing, and most of us that own motorcycles, we do pretty well about keeping our motorcycles up, but the condition of your motorcycle is going to make a difference on your commute. Having your chain tightened, having your chain properly cleaned and lubed, proper fluids in your bike in good running order, you know, signals working, tail light working, whatever. Seat, you know, if your seat's getting worn down or torn or stuff like that, if you have to commute more than 5 miles a day, you're going to feel where the seat is hard because the foam is broke down, or too soft because of the foam broke down, or a tear in your seat. You're going to end up finding those. They're going to be in the most uncomfortable position for you because you wore those spots down sitting in that spot on your motorcycle. And so just the overall condition of your bike, man, keep up on your maintenance and get out and have fun. It's a lot of fun to commute on a motorcycle as long as you take a couple of steps to make it a more enjoyable experience. You know, and gear helps. Gear helps keep you hydrated. And then when you go down on your bike, gear helps keep your hide on your body, quite literally. So, you know, it might be cool to rip around, t-shirt, that kind of stuff. And I do occasionally do it. As you see in the beginning of this video, I rode up and went to the bank, and it was just nice, cool day. It was early in the morning. So I'm like, hey, I'm just going to, you know, not wear gear. And I do it, and everybody does. But longer rides, evening commutes, heat of the day, I always have all of my gear on because it's that much more comfortable for my commute. And, you know, you're going to be sore. You're going to have to get used to it and get used to riding in traffic, and that higher speeds, heavier traffic is intimidating. But, you know, if you take the time to wear the proper gear, take the time to get used to what's going to be sore for a little while on your motorcycle, and you literally learn how to maneuver and stretch on your bike to make it more comfortable and ride more aggressively so you're seen, man, you'll have a great overall experience with commuting. And get out there and enjoy it.